ZABoxingNation, where boxing lives, breathes, and breaks down. Boxing history was just made as Terence Bud Crawford became the first ever to capture undisputed status in 3 separate weight classes after defeating Saul Canelo Alvarez. We'll break down exactly how he did it, what's next for both fighters, and why this win puts Terence Bud Crawford amongst the all-time greats. We'll also cover Naoya the Monster Inoue's dominance, Lewis Crocker's big win over Paddy Donovan, and the blockbuster news of Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. rematch, now official for November 15th at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And then, of course, your favorite segment on this day in boxing history. Let's break this all down. Terence Bud Crawford delivered another career-defining performance, defeating Saul Canelo Alvarez by unanimous decision to capture the undisputed status at 168 pounds. Terence Bud Crawford improves to 43 wins, 0 losses, and 31 big wins coming by way of knockout. Terence Bud Crawford is the first ever fighter to be undisputed in 3 divisions in the 4-belt era, and a male fighter because Clarissa Shields did it first. She was the first female fighter to do it. 140, 147, and 168. He also picked up a belt against Majmov with a subpar performance at 154. And now, Terence Bud Crawford beat one of the boxing's biggest global stars in Saul Canelo Alvarez. Saul Canelo Alvarez is 62 wins, 3 losses, and 2 draws, 39 big wins coming by way of knockout. In the early rounds, Saul Canelo Alvarez pressed forward, trying to establish body shots and pressure, and Terence Bud Crawford stayed poised and patient, using his jab to create distance and disrupt Saul Canelo Alvarez's rhythm. By the middle rounds, Terence Bud Crawford's timing took over. He controlled the fight with his stand switches, neutralized Saul Canelo Alvarez's right hand, and countered off Canelo's misses. In the late rounds, Terence Bud Crawford stayed composed, avoided exchanges where Canelo thrives, and picked him apart with accuracy and movement. Terence Bud Crawford didn't even need a knockout. He boxed a clinic. Judges had the score wide in his favor and reflected that he was in complete control of the fight. Now, becoming 3-time undisputed is unprecedented. No fighter in the 4-belt era has ever done this. Beating Saul Canelo Alvarez, who ruled as the face of boxing for a decade, is a generational accomplishment. Terence Bud Crawford now has a legitimate case for being one of the top 15 fighters in boxing history. The rematch isn't locked in just yet, but it's possible. It's not guaranteed though. Terence Bud Crawford could test himself at 168 if David Benavidez was willing to come down for that mega fight, Saul Canelo Alvarez to fight. So why not have Terence Bud Crawford make that fight and pay him handsomely, like about $100 million to fight the likes of a David Benavidez? But if Terence Bud Crawford decided to retire today, his place as an all-time great is secure. He doesn't have to break Mayweather's record or do anything that all these people are talking about. Whatever decision he chooses to make, I stand behind him. Bottom line, Terence Bud Crawford didn't just beat Saul Canelo Alvarez. He outclassed him over 12 rounds. Naoya the Monster Inoue keeps doing what he does best, dominating world-class opposition. Naoya the Monster Inoue's resume is 31 wins, 0 losses, and 27 big wins coming by way of knockout. He's unified and undisputed at 118 and now undisputed at 122 pounds. Most recently dismantled Akhmadaliev with surgical precision. Naoya the Monster Inoue has devastating power that carries into the later rounds of the fight. He has speed, timing that overwhelms all of his opponents. He has a willingness to unify and chase the toughest fights possible. To see Naoya the Monster Inoue make the jump to 126 pounds where he could chase bigger names like Ray Vargas, Lee Wood, Robeisy Ramirez. At just 31 years old, Naoya the Monster Inoue in the top 3 pound for pound and pushing his way into the all-time great discussions. Let me know what you guys think about that fight in the comments below. Naoya the Monster Inoue versus Akhmadaliev. And then, of course, the mega fight, Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Now, Lewis Crocker extended his unbeaten run by defeating Paddy Donovan. Lewis Crocker is 22 wins, 0 losses, and 11 big wins coming by way of knockout. Paddy Donovan is now 14 wins, 2 losses, and 11 big wins coming by way of knockout. Lewis Crocker used a sharp jab and superior defense to control the range of this fight. Paddy Donovan landed some good shots, but Crocker's ring IQ and patience won this fight. This win firmly establishes Lewis Crocker as the contender in this division. But what's next for him? Lewis Crocker is now on the doorstep of world-level opposition. He can now be matched with top 15 fighters or pushed into a European title shot before chasing the belt. Let me know how you guys feel about that fight in the comments below. Lewis Crocker versus Paddy Donovan in the rematch. It was such a tremendous fight. The rivalry continues. We know that these guys' fathers fought over 30 years ago. Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. The rematch is officially set for November 15th, 2025 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. Conor Benn is 23 wins, 1 loss, and 24 big wins coming by way of knockout. He has explosive pressure and he has knockout power. Chris Eubank Jr., he is 35 wins, 3 losses, and 25 big wins coming by way of knockout. He is experienced, durable, and he thrives in exchanges. Their fathers, Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr., had one of the most iconic rivalries in British boxing history. Now the sons carry that torch. Chris Eubank Jr. must start fast in this fight. He has to pressure and break Eubank down. Chris Eubank Jr., he needs to weather the storm, drag Conor Benn into the later rounds, and rely on his jab and his experience just like he did in the first fight. My prediction, this is a close fight. I believe this is as 50-50 as a fight gets. Conor Benn has the power, but Chris Eubank Jr. has the chin, and he's very veteran savvy. Expect fireworks with a possible late stoppage either way. Now, for the heavyweight division is in full flux. Anthony Joshua is eyeing a late 2025 fight. Then we have Deontay Wilder, who is still dangerous, and I would love to see him get back into the mix. Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, saying that he's going to be getting back into the ring, said that he has a big announcement coming, but we haven't heard anything just yet. And now, for your favorite segment, on this day in boxing history. On September 15th, 1978, Muhammad Ali defeated Leon Spinks in the New Orleans to becoming the first man to ever win a heavyweight championship 3 times. It wasn't just a win, it was Ali cementing his legacy as the greatest. So where we currently stand, Terence Crawford became an undisputed champion by outclassing Saul Canelo Alvarez over 12 rounds. Naoya the Monster Inoue remains unstoppable by defeating Akhmadaliev. Lewis Crocker proved his worth in the rematch with Paddy Donovan. And Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. 2 rematch is set for London in November. I want you guys to stay. And Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. 2 is set to electrify in London in November. Let me know what you guys think about all those fights in the comments below. But this is ZABoxingNation, where champions get analyzed and legends are made. And if you're new here, keep your hands up, and I'll catch you in the next one.